Hello and welcome back to English class, Reading and Use of English Part 2, the open close. Okay guys, in this part of the test, you'll be asked to complete a text with 8 numbered gaps. Missing words will have a mainly grammatical focus, though there might be a few vocabulary items. Each gap must be filled with only one word and of course must be correctly spelled. It is very important to read through the whole text carefully before you decide to write anything down. Some answers may be dependent on a sentence which comes later in the text. Awareness of the writer's train of thought and logical argument is often tested in the proficiency part 2 open close. Now let's have a look at some of the areas which you're often tested on. The first area is fixed phrases. For example, how would you complete this sentence? As a however, such attacks have been aimed at causing damage rather than taking life. Fixed phrase is as a rule. As a rule means something that usually happens. Another thing that we could be tested on is relative pronouns. For example, this is the boy scores the highest marks. This would be, this is the boy who scores the highest marks. And also, we'll be looking at using linkers. I wouldn't go near a stingray. Let pet one. So this would be, I wouldn't go near a stingray, let alone pet one. So the use of let alone is used to emphasize the improbability of a contrasting example. Prepositional phrases. The payphone in my street was out of so I had to call from another one. Out of, order meaning not working. Phrasal verbs. My cousin has been selected to take after Mr. or Mrs. Gilpin retires at the end of the year. To take over means to begin to have control of something. In this sentence it would be to take control of the school. Being principal of the school means you have control of a lot of things. Prepositions. Frank could always make her laugh, regardless her misery. Regardless of, meaning despite everything. Collocations. Juan's short poems could have been a great book and should be read by many. Should be widely read by many. So there's the collocation. Reflexive pronouns is another thing that we might be tested on. We always have a fresh pot of coffee in the office, so guests can help to a cup. So guests can help themselves to a cup of coffee. Articles. She received standing ovation at the end of her speech. She received a standing ovation at the end of her speech. Comparison, finally. For example, I have pairs of shoes than I used to have. I only have 2 pairs now. I have fewer shoes now than I used to have. Why is it fewer? Because fewer is the comparative of few, whereas less is the comparative form of little. So again guys, we're going to see an example task, but first just remember to read the whole text thoroughly through and then look back to the gaps to see maybe what is required, whether it be a preposition or a phrasal verb, and then see, or let's try to deduce what we can get from the text. Does this sentence mean, from the author's standpoint, one thing, or does it mean another thing? Remember to only use one word in the gap, using or writing when you come to write in capital letters, okay? So I'm going to put up a photo now of a text. I want you to read it and have a go at writing the answers yourself. And then after this, we'll look at the answers and discuss why they are the right answer. So number 1 here would be would, should or could, because here the Henri Cartier-Bresson was expressing future possibility. Number 2 would be wherever. Wherever, because here we have to understand that this camera was so important to him, he would take it in or to any place he went in the world. Number 3 would be which. Now, which, we are using this pronoun because which refers to animals or objects. whereas who and whom refer to people, and whose can refer to possession. Number 4, it lent itself not only to spontaneity but to anonymity as well. Here we're looking at a reflexive pronoun, it lent itself. Now we have to refer back to the previous sentence. Here we're talking about the type of camera. So the camera is what lent itself. It's because of the use or his availability of using this camera. Number 5, to such an extent did. Now here we have an adverbial phrase. It's kind of like an inversion. Okay, so we're saying to such an extent did, etc., etc., that he covered. To such an extent means so much. You could also say Cartier-Bresson wished to remain silent so much that he covered the bright chromium parts, etc. Number 6, nothing or little. But there was nothing or little compulsive or hurried about his travels. So here we have the existential subject there, followed by is, the verb to be. And here we're modifying, if you like, the compulsion or the hurry about his travels. So there was nothing or little compulsive or hurried about his travels. Number 7, we have a passive structure starting with a past participle, undeterred. Undeterred by is what follows undeterred. How do we know this? Because we can kind of transform this sentence, if you like, by saying he was undeterred by the explosive nature of the riots. We've put undeterred here at the start of the sentence to maybe show emphasis. And then number 8 is rate. He continued to take photographs at the rate of about 4 per hour. At the rate of is part of a collocation. At the rate of something. And in this case, it's the rate of something per hour. Okay guys, I hope you got some good marks with that practice test there. I'm going to leave one for you right now, a picture, and I want you to have a go at yourself. And then at the end of the video, you can mark it as well. You've got the answers. So without further ado, it's a goodbye from me. Here is the image. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.